class. It's your opportunity to ask any question that you would like about the program, or to volunteer to have me do a scan on you personally and tell you what I'm seeing. I also want to let you know that in addition to free classes, I also do some advanced classes. And you don't have to be an advanced user to be a part of these classes, but just have a desire to learn. So on the 13th of February, I am beginning a class on cancer. This is of great concern to many people who are in our community. They want to know how they can deal with cancer. It's really important to understand the nature of cancer. The cancer is just along the spectrum of being completely well and being sort of somewhere down the road of not being so well, and that you can always return from one part of the road. You know, you can always return from wherever you are, and people have made miraculous recoveries. There's not one cancer that people have not made a miraculous recovery from. And yet, if you Google cancer, the main things that come up are more about the fear-based side of cancer instead of the possibilities. So if you're interested in the possibility of understanding cancer and looking at it from an energetic perspective with complete hopefulness, knowing that there's so much more to understand and so much more that can be done, then please join us starting on February 13th. And this is part of our practitioner series. So if you're interested in being a practitioner, this is a must, check out class, because it's going to help you in formulating your strategies and protocols for cancer. So you can read more of that. I will have the newsletter out today. I'm finally getting it out weekly. And we're going to talk a little bit about these cancer panels today as well. You'll notice I don't screen explicitly for cancer. I screen for the conditions or the terrain around cancer. So we'll talk more about that. A lot of people this morning are asking about animals, puppies, dogs, and so I'll talk a little bit about that. Remember that I do have a series of customized testing panels. Krista, I know that you have those, and Karen recently sent you those. And so there is a lot. We have some feline panels, some canine panels, some horse panels for horses. So you can get that on the website as well. I'm going to just be sending you the links this week so you can look at that, especially the standard process veterinary products. It's funny, I don't use standard process for human beings, but I find it extremely helpful for animals. So you can look at those. Different remedies can be really, really great. Okay, so the Genius Insight is a tool. It's a tool that anyone can use. If you have no medical background, you can use it. If you have a medical degree, you can use it. If you have an acupuncture degree, if you just have a desire to help other people, you can use it. It's a great equilibrator, because not only is it priced well, but it's something that's accessible by many, many people. So the goal of our weekly classes, and you can come as many times as you want, is to share cases, information, and answer your questions about the Genius Insight. I want to warmly welcome Carrie joining us from the East Coast. Carrie is going to be part of our Genius Summit. We have our Genius Summit coming up in about the 3rd week of February. I'll have more information today. We'll definitely get all the events to you guys, so don't worry at all. I just want to welcome everyone who's new to the weekly class. So Roni, a warm welcome to you. I see Joel is here. Joel, a warm welcome to you. Really nice to have you. I know you're a longtime user, and Hilda's a longtime user. Jackie M, welcome to you. Kind of new here, and I really appreciate it, whether you've gotten your system or not. It's really great to have you along. Tony G, warm welcome to you. I'm really, really glad to have you. So happy to have all the Sharons that are joining us today. Robin R is here. Robin, thank you for being here. A warm welcome to you. So all the new users, all the potential users, you guys, if you're getting your system this week, there's some bonuses. You'll get the Rife app, you'll get the relationship app, you'll get the water app, you'll also get my vessel harmonizing program and my mitochondrial rejuvenation program. So remember always to inquire about what the special deal is for this week. And if you can get your system before Friday, you'll get all of those gifts included in your system. If you're interested in live classes, I'm going to be in San Diego for a class on the last weekend in April. So I'll be there. We'll have a Friday night community event, and then I'll be teaching on Saturday and Sunday down in San Diego. I'll have details for you soon, and registration will be open for that, and that class is going to fill up fast. So if you want to meet me in person and be a part of that class, be sure that you get signed up as soon as you see the registration come out. So that's down in San Diego the last week in April. So Friday evening, Saturday, we'll be on all day Saturday and all day Sunday. So bring your roller skates. We're going to be having a great intensive about energy medicine and how to use the genius. So hands-on, interactive. The people who attended last year in June had an amazing time in person, and this year we're going to do this down in San Diego. Okay, so I want to welcome Karen and the crew from Canada. This is one of our most active communities, and Karen's been one of our most amazing practitioners sharing the genius with other people, an active part of our affiliate program. Anyone can sign up for the affiliate program and be an ambassador for the genius to other people. You guys, we got a great group today, one of our best attendance records, so it's really wonderful to have everybody here joining us. Now, Karen, I think that I put the information for Mary Rose in here, and so can we have her voice? Can we possibly have her voice? We can record her voice. So let's see if we can unmute you for a second here. Karen, can you hear me?
I certainly can. Thank you, Ariel.
Hey.
And Mary Rose is here.
Okay, super. Hi, Mary Rose. How are you?
Not so bad.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, so why don't I have you say just say your first name and not your surname, because this is going to be recorded and shared. And then go ahead and after you say your name, so I would say my name is Ariel, you say your name, and then just keep repeating A-E-I-O-U over and over again until you see that the microphone is done blinking. Sound good?
All right, does.
Okay, I'll start recording here in 3, 2, 1. I'm recording.
My name is Mary Rose, A-E-I-O-U, 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 A.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. And so, Mary Rose, what's going on today?
I am tired today and stressed and quite a bit of anxiety, and my eyes are heavy and sort of I'm stuffed up a little bit and a little bit off balance. I've used the word wonky, and digestion maybe isn't the best either.
What's not the best?
Maybe a little bit of indigestion and a croaky throat, like sort of hoarse and croaky in the throat.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, so Mary Rose, thank you so much for being a part of our class today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at your case, and then we're going to come back and talk to you afterwards. Sound good?
That sounds really good. Thank you.
Okay, talk to you soon then. All right, so I'm just going to meet these ladies there, our wonderful community there in Canada. And just looking quickly here through some of your other questions. We have a couple more volunteers. Really, really good to have everybody volunteering. I appreciate it. Let's see. Krista has some good questions. Good questions, you guys. We'll try to get to as many questions as we can. Elfie is here. Warm welcome, Elfie, and Karen from Switzerland. Warm welcome, and Dale. Really appreciate Dale being here. Okay, so let's just get to this case here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly add all my custom libraries by going up to the navigation bar, going to libraries. I'm going to hit add to client. I have about 500 different libraries which you can acquire over time or as a bundled set. And so I'm going to add all of those so I can test those natural health libraries. Oh, I almost lost the computer off the side. That was good. All right, let's try not to do that. All right, so there we go. Okay, so I think we got those added. You guys just do a quick sound test. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll test those libraries in just a minute. What I like to do when I get started is I like to look at the different things that are in reds and blues. It does confuse people a little bit. It's definitely confusing that you don't have to only test things that are in red and blue, but you want to look at them as a guide. So it doesn't mean sacred geometry is out of balance for her. It just means that that there's something in sacred geometry that could be powerful for her. So then we have Bach flower essences, we have emotional stuff, and she sounded pretty emotional, right? And these also say that these will be beneficial things to look at. So if you choose something from this category, these will have a very high propensity of being valuable to this person. So instantly you get sort of an overview of what's going on. And you guys can pick up so much amazing information so quickly with the Genius. It does take some time to learn how to read the patterns, you guys. That's why I recommend my mastery program. It doesn't come overnight, but you can get up to speed very, very quickly. We have lots of people who don't have a health background who use this every day. So this says that some electrical sensitivities are affecting her, that she probably has some type of an underlying infection. Now, those of you who have never joined me before, I do go all the way down to 600. So I go into the yellow zone and I'll look at things down to 600 as being significant. So maybe some infection and then something going on with the organs, something going on with minerals. So it's really saying, like, of this particular category, there may be some particular minerals that energetically would be beneficial. Let's go ahead and look at that. You could just choose them as a biofeedback practitioner to run them energetically. In other words, you don't have to have the nutritional information that I have, but I'm going to add in my nutritional education as a as an adjunct, something to further understand what's going on. Now, we don't have nothing's really jumping out at me at the moment. And here I go into the green zone all the way up to 200 and find those numbers to be significant. So cobalt is often related to hydrocobalamin. This could be B12. Molybdenum I often find from a chronic candida infection, that this is a mineral that helps to clear the candida. Chromium, blood sugar. Zinc, immune system. Lithium, mental emotional, helping the brain, cognitive function. So let's just let's also look at the aura just as a beginning. I like to look at the aura in the beginning. And let's go ahead and begin the analysis here. So it sounds like she's got some emotional stuff, some fatigue stuff. Okay, let's see. Now this is hard to really visualize from your perspective, what you're looking at. But this is something we talked about on Facebook Live a couple of weeks ago, There is a brown here, there's a gray here, and this kind of pink, it sometimes almost looks like something that would be, it sounds so weird, something removed surgically or something. Like it's not like it's something seems very physical up here. It doesn't seem like the same as the rose pink. It almost has a weird hue to it. So it's something that we want to clear. We want to see cleared from the energy field. Now, Mary Rose is spending a lot of time with one of our best healers. So it's no surprise she's probably getting a lot of energy run for her to see this wonderful purple in here. We do see a little bit of gray over here, but a lot of things look really, really good in here. Okay, so let's go back and let's look at a couple of other things that are really great to look at in the beginning. So in the beginning, looking at something like today's stress, even though it's not red or blue, you guys go ahead and look at today's stress when you start your cases, because it's going to give you hints. What you're often looking for is, what is the overarching issue? Like, what is the aha about the case? What is the linchpin, or what is the centering piece of the case that we need to look at? And so this is, there's some underlying fungus, there may be a food sensitivity, and there's a nutritional issue. A nutritional issue doesn't always mean the person is eating poorly. It could be that they're not digesting or assimilating their food. And when we get to the cancer class, we're going to talk a lot about digestion and how to help people to tone up their digestion, because all illness starts in the gut. And a person with cancer, even though we're not dealing with cancer today, a person with cancer is someone who has not been digesting their food very well for a very long time. Now we go down to the bottom to look for the lowest numbers, because this is a dual-sided system. We're looking at the highs and the lows as a sign of disresonance or discord, or where that person's energy field is sticky. What is the energy that they're not in resonance with? So this says a hormonal issue, an underlying possible virus issue, perhaps a cardiovascular issue, lymphatic, some type of degeneration that's an active process of where she's trying to heal something. Heavy metal toxicity, kidneys, liver. So, it tells us a detox program could be very, very beneficial. Now, of this information, you guys, you don't need to do anything that a naturopath would do. You're informing yourself, you're gaining an understanding, but it's enough to just put the items down in the main hold tray and then to proceed on to progressive insights, where you will continue to develop this information further. So in other words, running the frequency is what you do as a biofeedback practitioner. You need not dole out prescriptions or find out all the nutritional information, although the mastery guide that comes when you get the Genius through me, the one that I wrote, the mastery guide that I wrote, does have all of that information, all of that referential information for you to look up. So, but you really want to do it just as an understanding of what's going on with the person. It's enough for you as a practitioner of biofeedback to run the frequencies. That's your job. It's not to be a naturopath, although you can get a lot of information that's going on with you or the other person, but it's enough to run the frequencies. That's what your job is. And if someone didn't know anything to do with the program, they wouldn't even have to do that. They could just hit the quick balance, and instantly they would be getting biofeedback for that person or for themselves. They don't need to know anything. What the quick balance does is it takes every red and every blue item and instantly begins to work on it. The reason we do this type of a session that I'm doing now is for more specificity. Part of this is a meditation in healing and helping. We're getting to more precision, but that's not to say that a quick balance, sometimes less is more. Just go ahead and hit the quick balance. We also call this the healer's balancing mechanism, because suppose you're helping people all day long, you're very tired, you don't feel like you even have the energy to help yourself. So you just hit the quick balance. It gives you an instant session, and it gives you a break, so you don't have to think about things to put in the main hold tray or what to do next. You just do that. Now, again, I want to emphasize that one thing that's really powerful that you can do is you can get a remedy plate, or if you have had the remedy plate for years and not done anything with it, we're doing a lot more with water remedies. So you can take that information that you're receiving, and as well as just sending it to consciousness, because what you do is you send it instantly. You give that information to consciousness immediately. It goes right to the energy field. Just like if you send someone Reiki, you don't expect a delay in the delivery of that Reiki. You expect that Reiki to reach that person instantly. So in the same way, this information reaches the person instantly and begins to help to change them. So what we're doing now more and more is we're taking that information, we're also sending it into water, which is a wonderful recipient. It's a wonderful conduit. It's extremely impressionable. And they can extend the usefulness of those frequencies into the water between sessions. So if you have one, start using it more. And if you don't have one, you may want to get one. Here's the link for it. It's on my website. You can just go to Awaken Total Health and put into the search bar remedy plate, or the link is down there in the question area that you may want to check that out. I'm hoping to have the camera hooked up soon so you can see what I'm doing. I just put the frequencies into the remedy plate, onto the remedy plate with a tincture bottle on it. So a little 2 ounce, I use blue glass and spring water or distilled water if I don't have spring water. And I put that information into the water with a little drop of brandy, because you just never know what's growing in those bottles, hopefully nothing. And so a little bit of preservative can go a long way. I've also been using spray bottles, so a 2 ounce adorable little mister where they can actually mist the remedy onto themselves, because the delivery system can be very dynamic. A lot of times we think that we have to give things orally, but things that go through the skin or directly into the energy field via that misting of the energy field can be really, really powerful. And you can become very creative with your remedies. You can charge up other remedies like an essential oil or a flower essence and add your frequencies to that remedy. So there are lots of different ways to do this, you guys. You know, the whole paradigm that it opens up is one of creativity and one of complete empowerment to create you as a layperson into a powerful healer. And that's the dynamic that we're sitting on. You know, this is a time of restoration of power. We've constantly been told that everything is outside of ourselves. That if you want a cure, you have to go get a particular medication which comes patented by a very wealthy company, and you must pay all the money in your bank account to get to the doctor to then tell you that you need this particular remedy. Otherwise, there's nothing that can be done. So nothing could be further from the truth. And this is something, the reason why you're motivated to come to this class and you're drawn to this type of technology is because there's so much of the element of truth and restoration of true power in biofeedback technology, because it puts the power back where it belongs, where it truly is, which is with you, to create remedies, to be extremely creative, to find your own way of using the genius. Mine is just guidance to give you the fundamentals, and where you take it will be very, very personal for you. So then we'll go to the emotions. Any protocol that you do, if you include emotions and you include Bach flower remedies, you will basically supercharge your impact. So you include Bach flower essences from the main part of the program, and you include emotions, and you will supercharge your results, because emotions are always connected to physical symptoms. There is not one physical pathology or manifestation that you can come up with that will not have some related emotional piece to it. And so that's what we're working on. See, I go all the way up to 200, and you can let the person look over your shoulder, and in a gentle way you can let them see what the emotions are, and you can say, look, we all have emotions. Try to find a little wisp of truth in each of these, and as you do, you begin to basically build up this energetic awareness, okay, of yourself. And it's very, very powerful. As you begin to acknowledge emotions and understand them, your whole system begins to discharge a lot of held energy. So there's an awful lot happening in even your own personal investigation of the frequencies. And when you see a positive one, this means that the person is seeking to cultivate more of that in their life. So hatred, they're trying to release any energy. You guys, we're all emotional. We're all human beings. Every single one of us has one of these resonating within us that we're trying to clear. And many people have lots and lots of red or lots of blue, and that's good. That means you're breathing. That means you're alive. It probably means you're working really hard to be a better person. So that's all perfectly okay. Let's look at some of the other things. The electrical sensitivities came up. So you see how quickly this progresses. We've got some radio waves, some electrical appliances. I don't know if, pardon me, I still have a bit of a cough. When I've done EMF remediation in people's homes, we sometimes see even the stoves have a lot of EMF coming off of them at the time they're being used. And of course, this would be microwaves. Radio waves could be something around the home. Wi-Fi is always an issue. I'm really tightening up that work to make sure that I turn it off at night almost all the time to give myself that energetic break. Okay, and let's just see, there was something else that I wanted to look at. We looked at minerals. We can look at brain EEG, sacred geometry. I'm going to skip those for now. We looked at today's stress, and let's go ahead and look at organs. I didn't really hear, a lot of physical stuff, so it's a little hard to know exactly where to go to. She did say, or Karen, you wrote to me, headaches. We could go to the libraries. Let's go ahead and go to some of the libraries, and let's do a full scan on the libraries. So let's just give this a second to finish up. Scanning a lot. So let's go ahead and type in headache, and we can just look at headache assessment, see if there's any reason for the headaches. So food allergies, it looks like food allergies are an issue, spinal misalignment, postural issues, poor sleep quality, liver toxicity. So definitely a detox looks like it'd be a good idea, and getting back on better choices of foods, or just tightening that up. Looks like mold is an issue. One thing we use for that is like increasing glutathione. Excessive work demands, really interesting. Magnesium. Magnesium is really, really good for headaches. So Karen has a great form of that magnesium oxide. I would say, detox and maybe some enemas, some coffee enemas, or some colonics might be really, really helpful. Maybe getting a massage, or somebody who can realign the spine. Looking at the most obvious things that might be food allergies, meat, dairy, wheat, gluten, sugar, those types of things. Postural issues, maybe getting a slant cushion is the one that I recommend, like the Einstein. See if I can That's really, really good. Hang on, you guys, I'm just trying to see if I can find it. A lot of people don't know about this. It's kind of one of those things that's just asking for somebody to take and run with it, like the squatty potty. It's one of those things that's been around the hygiene community for years, and it's never been properly exploited. If you read the books of Bernard Jensen, he would not let his clients come to see him unless they would agree to do some inversion postures. So if you do it in yoga already, that's perfectly great. If you don't, you really should be using either an inversion board every single day. And if you do, kudos to you. A lot of people, as they get older, they don't want to use it because they don't feel safe, or it's too extreme. So one of these, either this one, or there's one with a little, like this one has a little bit more of a, no, it's not that one. Where is it? I can't find it, but you get the idea. So anyway, these are fantastic because they're very, very gentle. They're easy to use. They're a bit expensive because they're a few $100s. I personally don't sell them, but they're really worth it because they help you to get those feet above the head. And you'll just have it for years. I'm just trying to get one image, one larger image. Click to enlarge. That's not the one we want. Okay, well, you guys get the idea. There we go. Okay, so like this. So what Bernard Jensen talked about was that the whole problem with being alive for, over a few decades is basically gravity, and gravity is pulling everything down, right? It's causing like prolapse. It's causing you to not get enough oxygen to the brain. It's causing your teeth to not getting enough circulation. So you have gingivitis and periodontal issues. And so he really made a great case for how important it is to make this reversal of the posture, at least for a short time during the day, like 10 minutes a day, and everything moves back in the other direction. Hopefully, and at least you're getting some of the blood flow into the brain, into the pineal gland, and you're getting, building up muscle tone just by lying in this position. When I first learned about colonics many, many years ago, my mentor, she would literally, she would have time with her husband, and then after, they had their connection time, then she would bring this slant cushion into the bed, and she literally would sleep on the bed on top of this cushion. It was hilarious. But if you think about it, that was really, really smart because she was able to get that inversion for a good part of the night, which is gravity. You're using gravity in that way, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so what we do is we investigate what is the assessment part of it, what's causing it, and then what would be good solution. So we already talked about the inversion being a good solution for postural issues. These are things that you could use: capsaicin cream, wintergreen essential oil, Jamaican dogwood is good if somebody's having an acute headache. This acts like an aspirin. It's actually an herbal pain reliever. You wouldn't use it every day, but when you have a really bad headache, you can use it. It's also called Pisidia, is the Latin name, Pisidia. MSM is really great for the liver, and we saw some need for liver detox. When people say migraines, that is almost always a magnesium or a liver issue. And if your bowels don't move the way that they used to, often that magnesium is very deficient. It's easy for magnesium, for us to lose magnesium and for us not to get enough because of the depletion in the soil. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to proceed on this step, this next step, after you've gathered up a lot of things into your main hold tray, is a very, very important step. So we talked today about looking at things that were in red, looking at things that were in blue, looking at things that were important, that today's stress, that would give us a clue about what's going on, or even just looking at panels that you want to look at, that you're interested in, and then using the custom testing libraries if you have them. And I can explain how to get them. If you want to email me, send me an email. Just go to my website, awakentotalhealth.com, hit the contact us button, and that email will come right to me. By the way, one of the best ways to get in touch with me, I see those emails and I check them several times a day. So then we tested the custom testing libraries, we put those in there, but then the most important step is to proceed on to progressive insights. So we want to go from here into the next step, which is the progressive insight step. So that's really, really important. The reason progressive insights is so important is it takes those 72 items and it says which one of these are the most important. And you should really spend a lot of time looking at those top 5 or those top 10 and saying, how are these related? How do they fit the case? What information can I take away from this? Okay, so the emotion of pity. So she might not even be aware of it, but there might be some thing going on there. It could be from her childhood. So there's something there. There's some kind of energetic catch. She doesn't have to acknowledge it. She doesn't, she could be in denial about it, or maybe it just doesn't match for her. That's totally fine. It's not a big deal. But we still want to run that energy. Okay, so something about it was so significant that out of 73 items, it came up at the top. The essential oil says that could be very, very good for her headaches, addressing the sensitivities, addressing the Wi-Fi. So you guys, I do see a lot of extremes on the Wi-Fi. Some people will not have Wi-Fi in their home at all. And you guys, the only downside of that is that you make your life really super stressful because the Genius runs and you can get updates through Wi-Fi, and just a whole lot of the world now runs through a wireless network. And I'm a huge EMF proponent. I'm going to be doing a webinar on Memon coming up soon, so watch that newsletter. There's going to be a lot of things going on in the next couple of months. So I'm going to be talking about Memon, M-E-M-O-N. You can go to my website to learn more about Memon. And I just got a whole shipment from Germany with some really, really good Memon remediation tools. However, what I recommend is that you don't go to extremes, you guys. With the wireless, you need it in some ways to make your life better. So use it to make your life better. Turn it off at night. Don't work right on top of the router. Keep the router in a different room. Some people are able to put it in the basement or put it somewhere low. The thing you need to know about these frequencies is that they fall off to a great degree with distance. And they fall off with regard to what's called the inverse square law, which means that a little bit of distance gives you a lot of relief from your wireless frequencies. Also, according to the principles of building biology, that you keep the sleep space is your sacred space. So don't sleep with an electronic alarm clock next to your bed. Remove it. Don't even sleep with lights next to your bed. Remove it. I use battery-powered camp lights next to my bed. I don't keep any TVs in the bedroom. That's not the place for them. And I turn the Wi-Fi off at night. Okay, so then someday I will actually have my reference guides at my fingertips here. So we've got a wonderful flower essence coming up. And so what I do is I manually click on each one of these, but you don't need to. If you're in a rush and you don't want to do anything, you can just click select all at the top right, and you can start harmonizing. The reason I like to really look at these, and anybody can do this, you don't need to be a naturopath, is that you can use your intuition and the common sense that you have, right? Your own common sense, and say, do these things seem to fit together? Is there a pattern? Is there some conclusion I can draw? Biofeedback is not just pushing buttons and getting an instant experience. It's also a learning process. It's a self exploration process. It's an awareness raising process. So Aspen is fear of unknown things. Then we've got some hormones. Hang on one second. And then Vine is striving to be more flexible, in life. And I like things in threes. So a third flower essence is water violet, and water violet is self-reliance, so much self-reliance that sometimes the person feels isolated. So being very self-reliant, and so opening up to other people and so forth could be beneficial. So what I do, so then now it's time to just hit the balancing button. I'm going to just switch the timer here to 2 minutes so we could just do a brief harmonizing. So it is a learning process. It's a self-revelatory process because you guys, every time you gain a new nugget or pearl of awareness, you discharge things from your system that are blocking or impeding you, either emotionally, spiritually, mentally, or physically. So it isn't all about the supplements we are to take or the medication we are to be prescribed. This is a whole body experience. Anything that's out of balance is an opportunity for us to learn, and the universe is asking us to raise our level of awareness. It's not just take the pill and get better. We talk about the very first year in naturopathic medicine that all of those medications drive the process deeper. So every time you suppress, you drive. So a good thing is like a good example is a skin cream. Let's just make that eczema go away by putting cortisone on it. And oh, now the rash is gone. We don't see it anymore. Well, according to the principles of natural medicine, it didn't go away. It just drove the process deeper. So we don't see it today, but it's going to come out at some future time, maybe years down the road. And why is that? Because we didn't learn the spiritual evolutionary lesson. There was something that went along with that piece of the physical puzzle. And what biofeedback does, if it's done correctly, in my opinion, is that it percolates those issues to the top so that you can just discharge them, you release them, and they're part of your personal evolution. So whatever these flower essences might mean to Mary Rose, they might be very, very significant and may help her with her headaches or help her with her energy to feel significantly better. All right, so we're going to check the aura. And as we check the aura, we're going to check in and see how she's doing and if anything came up that resonated for her today. So let's go ahead and what we'll do is unmute her microphone here and see if we can talk to her. I can just find where everybody is. Welcome, Kelly. Glad you're here today. And let's go back to Karen's crew. Did we lose them? No, there they are. Okay, there we go. Okay. So Mary Rose, anything kind of matching, or what was your impression of what we found today?
Well, I think that you hit a number of good points. The stress, definitely. And reference to my aura when it first came up, and Karen helping me with that. It looked a lot different than when we first started. And the emotional part, the loneliness and the pity. I said to Karen as we were speaking, I know what that pity is. It is a loneliness.
We all have elements of that, you know, and so thank you for, you know, sharing that and that it was meaningful for you.
Oh, your fingers were tingling.
Oh, yes. And when you were doing some of the treatments, I could feel it. My fingers, my thumb on my left hand were tingling. So I definitely did feel some of that coming through.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And Karen says she's feeling some of the residual from it.
I'm vibrating.
That's wonderful. That's amazing. And so, yeah, I mean, even in just those few minutes, you were so receptive to the energies. You know, we went from that sort of cloudiness above and sort of gray above right to beautiful. I mean, even your name has the color rose in it. And we got all of that beautiful rose energy coming in. And energy always comes in from this side. This is you facing the person. So this is the person's right side. So you've got all of that starting to come in and a lot of stuff starting to clear out. So good work on your part.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're lucky to have, Karen's an amazing gift that you have right there at, your fingertips, and I'm really glad that you're using the frequencies for the animals. I think that they're incredibly receptive and very good candidates for biofeedback.
Yes, I definitely can see a difference.
Excellent.
And, I appreciate Karen's work and yours as well.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You please let me know if you have any questions as you're working with the Genius and getting worked on as well.
Okay, I will. I appreciate that.
All right. Thank you so much for letting us work with you today.
And thank you.
So I'm going to continue to run some frequencies for Mary Rose, and we'll get to some of your questions. We might go a little bit past the hour. So if you need to hop off at the top of the hour, I totally understand. What we do here is we drill down the information. Sorry, I mean to select them all. And after 2 minutes of balancing, we go to another layer. We just peel another layer. I usually do it in 3-minute increments. You could do it longer. So poor sleep quality, chicory, hormonal issues, some angst. I think she expressed some of that. Elm, chromium, valerian. It tells us after we blow off the superficial, the first layer, then we go to deeper issues. And I love as we get into sort of the third or fourth balancing that we're really able to get to deeper and deeper issues. We're able to peel the onion and get to deeper things that are more impactful as we go along. So these are things I talk about in my practitioner class. So we did an initial practitioner class that's been recorded. That's our level 1. Our level 2 is now to go into the particular topics, the health topics of interest. That's why we're going to be having the 8-week cancer class. There's a $400 discount on it. So it's 8 classes for $597. They're 1-hour classes, and you can check those out. Let's get to some of your questions, and we'll get to more cases next week. Certainly, if you need to work with me before then get in touch with me for a consultation by going to awakentotalhealth.com. And Catherine, I want to welcome Catherine from the UK. And Catherine, let's try to get you up at the front of the line next time, and I'd love to work with you. I appreciate the work that you're doing there, and I know you're very, very busy, so I want to at least honor your participation. I don't know if you'll be able to join us next time. We'd love to work with you. Let's see. Okay, so Krista, why don't you send me the birth date of your dog, and let's see what we can do. Okay, so our class starts on February 13th at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern, and 7 o'clock, that is Central Time. All right. I'm sorry, I'm just reading through. Do you attach the remedy plate to the iPad and do a quick balance? You can do that if you want to. Why bluegrass? Why blue glass? Oh, blue glass. I thought it said bluegrass. Blue glass. You don't have to use blue glass. You can use amber glass. Generally, we use colored bottles because of the protection of the frequencies within the bottle. So the more that you shield them from the external frequencies in terms of light, the better maintenance you have of the frequencies that you've put in there. I think this is Fiona's questions. How can you tell if symptoms that a client is having come from a pharmaceutical drug they are taking? That's more of a medical question, so that's really not like a biofeedback question, Fiona, and that just takes really an understanding. But one thing that anybody has the ability to do is go to this crazy resource called Google. Go to Google and just Google the drug and look at the different side effects. Now, it is confusing often. If you read a couple of the different descriptions, you'll eventually find what some of the really common side effects are. So how can you tell if symptoms that a client is having coming from a pharmaceutical drug. The other thing, you guys, I swear to God, medicine is, you know, a lot of knowledge, but it's also just as much common sense and recognizing patterns and putting pieces together. So if you say to the person, one of the most important questions you'll ever ask is, when did this start? When did it start? So they say, oh, it started when I started taking the medication, or it started 5 days after I started taking the medication, or it started, you know, after my divorce, or whatever it is. So that's a really, really important question. My yoga, sorry, my yoga instructor, hang on. My yoga instructor says not to put my head below the heart if one has glaucoma or high intraocular pressure. You guys, use some common sense. If you know you have glaucoma or high intraocular pressure, then don't do an inverted posture. Okay, so use some common sense. If you have a medical condition, don't take what I'm saying without consulting your health practitioner if you have the slightest concern, or if it causes you pain, or if it causes you discomfort. So yeah, don't do that. My question is, how can you determine if symptoms that a client is having coming from the side effects of a drug or a painkiller so that you can advise them to stop? Okay, well, this is one thing we learned in naturopathic school, really. So even as a naturopath, if I didn't prescribe the drug, I can't tell them to come off the drug. So you have to be extremely careful in these situations, especially as a biofeedback practitioner. So how can I say this in a nice way? Once the person is on a pharmaceutical medication, it's almost like they've entered into like a pact with, you know, a very dark energy. I don't know how to say it any nicer. It's really hard to get these doctors to stop a medication once they have prescribed it, particularly medications related to the cardiovascular system. So trying to get off someone off a statin, or trying to get someone off of a blood pressure medication, or trying to get someone off of a blood thinner, I have found to be the most perplexing and frustrating things. I just wish they had never gotten on those medications, because doctors are at such risk, liability, if they, one, don't prescribe them, or two, take them off. Because if the person has a cardiovascular event and that person was not within the quote unquote standards of care, then their practice and their career is at risk, which is awful on so many levels. And additionally, there is so much money and pressure in these, you know, the statin drug industry. If you take a moment, and you guys, I'm going to go a few minutes over because it's really important. If you Google right now, what are the top 10 medications in the world, right? First of all, like 3 of them are going to be statins, which is ridiculous, because a statin is an anti-cholesterol drug, and anti-cholesterol drugs can be completely controlled through diet and lifestyle for like 90% of people, except for people who have familial hyperlipidemia. So that's ridiculous. And so it's staggering to see the amount of money that these pharmaceutical medications. So when you have time, just put top 10 selling medications in the world, and then you see their market share, or what they sell. And it's like billions of dollars each for, you know, all of the statin medications. You know, one's 8 billion, anyway, it's unbelievable. So back to the question at hand. My question, how is you can determine if the symptoms that a client is having coming from the side effects of a drug or a painkiller so that you can advise them to stop? You could create a custom panel that says side effects of medication, and you could at least have raise your level of awareness that that really is a side effect. You could also send them to an alternate care practitioner, like an acupuncturist or a naturopath, who would be able to better recognize that. So those are some options, and maybe have more empowerment about doing something. But, you know, if it seems, Fiona, you're probably going to have a strong sense if it's a side effect from a medication, especially if it's something that happened, you know, fairly soon after they started taking the medication. And the other thing is that, you know, a lot of times the the biggest problem for doctors is not the illness. It is managing the medications. You guys, I have a 93-year-old aunt, and the level of irresponsibility in prescribing these medications and how they interact with each other is staggering. Sharon says, I'm getting excellent enhanced results from asking my own innate wisdom, I think it is, or having the client focus on an affirmation similar to, let the correct frequencies go to the correct locations in the optimal dose for balance, wellness and balance for this body. It's really good. I'm confused. Is the picture in the aura looking towards me or away? The picture in the aura is looking towards you. So it's opposite of what you're looking at. So there, okay, yeah, I see why you're confused because I said it a bit wrong. I said it incorrectly when I was talking here. So let's just go back to this aura picture. So this is her right side. This is her right side and my left. The energy comes in from the left side and goes out through the right. So I understand why you were confused. Okay. Let's see. Do you consider genetic issues and emotions? I think I need more of an explanation of that. Is it better to end on a higher overall average? Well, each one of these questions take a long lecture. So let me just end with Dale's question then. Is it better to end when a higher overall average? I think you mean rectification. It's up to you, Dale. I mean, I think people have their own personal ways of working with these rectification percentages. Just to be honest with you, I don't find these rectification percentages to be that helpful, nor are they something that I really look to. These days, I'm really looking at the aura. In fact, I often don't feel very happy until I get to a place of sort of symmetry with the aura and where I've gotten a lot of gray and darkness out of the aura. So often I will extend the harmonizing even beyond the time that I'm on the phone with a client, or they might be in the office. I may run them for a few minutes after they leave as I'm doing chart notes, because I'm just not happy until I see some symmetry. I'm dependent more on the aura these days and my own intuition rather than these numbers. I don't find them that incredibly good as indicators of, is the person done? So you guys, I was having trouble getting a Facebook Live where we can really see good results like we can in the webinar. So I'm tabling those for the moment, but we are going to use Facebook Live probably for our new Genius Summit coming up. So Karen's going to be a part of that, and Carrie's going to be a part of that. And I know that you're super, super busy, Catherine. Catherine from the UK, I think she jumped off. No, she's still there. Anybody who is a practitioner or feels a level of competence, like Fiona, I think you're going to be part of our summit. So we'd love to have more volunteers for the summit. It's going to be in the last third. I think there's only 3 weekends. Anyway, it'll be in late February. So it's coming up soon. And then at the end of April, I will be in San Diego if you want to meet me in person and be part of an energetic medicine class that teaches you the skills of the genius. We'd love to see you there. Registration will be open for that soon. Thanks, Vivian, for joining us. Vivian, thank you so much. You are a wonderful resource of wisdom. We appreciate you using the genius in all that you do. And thank you for your referrals to us. We really appreciate it. So I want to wish everybody a wonderful day, and look for the newsletter at the end of today or tomorrow morning, depending on where you are. Thank you, Mary Rose, so much for volunteering today. I hope to get to more cases next week. If you're in an urgent place, please schedule a consultation with me so that I can help you in person. We meet online or via Skype. And take care, everybody. Have a very, very abundant, safe, and healthy week. Much love, and keep on harmonizing. Take care now. Bye-bye for now.